Again, good evening, everybody. Thank you all for being here tonight on this very special occasion. Mayor Cabillos, Village Council members, distinguished guests, village staff, police department members, and most importantly, the residents of El Portal, welcome. I am David Magnuson, Police Chief of the Village of El Portal Police Department. Your department, your chief. It is my distinct honor to welcome you all to the Mayor's of El Portal's 2019 State of the Village Address. A lot of great things are happening in El Portal, and this is a great opportunity for you to hear from the Mayor about where the village has been and where it's going. I, for one, are truly excited about it. I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend tonight's festivities, and I'd like to call them festivities because this is a joyous occasion and you're going to hear a lot of really good things. I'm excited again, as I stated. But first things first, just a reminder, I'd like to remind you afterwards, there's no need to rush out of here. Hang around a little bit for some more coffee. It's been great, some great food. Get to talk to neighbors, village staff, your elected officials, police department, everybody. Again, everybody welcome. Thank you for being here. First and foremost now, I'd like to introduce our Mistress of Ceremony for tonight's program, Ms. Shantae Sweet.
Thank you, Chief Magnuson. Again, welcome everyone, and we would like to now begin the official part of tonight's program. We are joined tonight by the combined Miami-Dade County Police Department Color Guard. With that, I kindly ask everyone to please rise for the presentation of the colors, and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance by Colonel Noel C. Pache.
All attend. Carry. Color. Right. Face. Out of house up. All wood. March. Tail. 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 Point. Tail. 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 Point. Tail. 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 Point. Tail, 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 point. March eye, march. Detail, hold. Tail, face.
Now I'd like to welcome El Portal resident and First Gentleman, Colonel Noel Pace, who just came in today from his Army Reserve duty at Southern Command Headquarters in Doral to lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Honor guard. Present. March. Place your hand over your heart.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor guard. Oh, good. March. Honor guard. Right. Face. Out of house, step. All wood. March. Tail. 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 Point. Tail. 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 Point.
Thank you, Colonel Pace. The Honor Guard, please retire the colors. Thank you for the combined Honor Guard. You guys look great, and what an example you have set here for us in El Portal. Thank you for always supporting our events. How about a round of applause for the Color Guard? We are now going to ask our Councilwoman Vamari Roman to please come forward and lead us in our invocation.
Good evening, and thank you for coming. Please bow your heads. Dear wise and loving Father, first let me say thank you on behalf of all who have gathered here tonight. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself, for the measure of health that we need to fulfill our callings, for sustenance and for friendship. Thank you for our community and our beautiful village. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Thank you for loving us from your boundless and gracious nature. We pray for everyone who is present here tonight, and in particularly my neighbor, my friend, and colleague, Mayor Claudia Cubillos, as she informs us and delivers the State of the Village address. I'm asking that you would graciously give her wisdom, confidence, and assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around our beloved village. We thank you for her service to this community, and we ask that the information that is delivered tonight is received with open minds and hearts as for the well-being of the community. Lastly, we ask for traveling grace as we return to our homes after this wonderful and informative evening. It is your blessed name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. You may have your seats. Thank you, Councilperson Roman. So we made some changes before our program started tonight, so I would just like to let you know that this paper says that I'm technically supposed to introduce myself, and rather than reading what's on the paper, I'd like to just say I am a 35-year resident in 3 generations of the village of El Portal. Happy to live here, happy to be here, happy to have grown up and play kickball in my front yard, happy to have fraternized with our police officers as they watched me grow, happy to have shared in the growth of this village from then to now to be able to stand before you tonight. And with that being said, my actual task for tonight was to stand before you and to introduce our mayor. So officially, let me say to our esteemed village council, to our beloved sworn officers who protect and serve our community, to our capable staff, and to our distinguished guests, each in your respective places, to all of our friends and visitors, and most importantly, especially to my fellow neighbors and village residents. I stand before you with the honor of introducing our mayor for tonight's State of the Village address. I'm no stranger to the village and no stranger to this task. I've actually stood here many times in this spot to do exactly what I was voluntold to do. Yeah. And as I dug in looking for the words to say, I have to say that each time I stand, it's different. It's like looking through a photo album and going back through the pictures and feeling the warm wash of nostalgia as you look through photos. Or it's like listening to your favorite song and you are reminded why it's your favorite song all over again because there's a riff in it that you just didn't hear the first time around. It's always different, but each time I dig for something new. In a very serendipitous way, I always find something that makes me smile or makes me proud. Tonight, I will solely focus on Claudia Cubillos' role as mayor. And she's been the recipient of many accolades and accomplishments. I dare not inundate you with a resume of tasks and victories. In a few minutes, in her very own way, she will share and post a year in a glance, and what a year it has been. I will, however, introduce to you my favorite parts of her in the role as a mayor. I'm reminded of a story of a young woman who went to her mother in distress. Life had become very, very hard for her, and she was at the point of giving up. And so her mother, in the form of fashion, decided to take out 3 pots and fill them with boiling water, put them on the stove. And in each one of the pots, she put a carrot, an egg, or a coffee bean. When they were finished boiling, she fished out the carrot, she fished out the egg, and she fished out the coffee bean, and she asked her daughter, "What do you see?" The daughter says, "I see a carrot, I see an egg, and I see coffee beans." She says, "Well, the carrot went in firm and strong, relentless, but the boiling water made it turn soft. The egg went in fragile, but the boiling water forced it to become hard. But the coffee bean, it changed the water." So ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our mayor, my coffee bean, Mayor Claudia Cubillas, as she comes and presents the State of the Village address.
So I'm going to say something. I'm totally going to go off script here, right? Why do I keep inviting you? This is a hard act to follow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was something else. One year ago, I stood here and I pledged to all of you an unwavering dedication to the village of El Portal. And tonight I am here with results and guaranteeing to all of you another fruitful year honored by action, heart, and results. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Claudia Cubillas, and I am the mayor of El Portal, and I have been since 2014. I have devoted countless hours and personalized care to our village for the last 11 years, first as councilwoman and now as the mayor. I have dedicated myself to the greater good of our beautiful village that while is prosperous right now, it will always need and deserve from each of us more leadership, more participation, more community connectedness, more bold moves that is going to continue to put us on the map. It's that untouchable resiliency that if we work together, it will shine brightly on the children and future generations that will live, that will learn, that will play right here if we build smart, if we think right, and if we plan and progress. But first, ladies and gentlemen, let's never lose sight of how far we have come, of how much we have accomplished together. I ask each of you that instead of looking at me, look to your right, look to your left, and look behind you. Each one of these people have helped shape our village. You have helped shape our village, and that needs to be celebrated. Each one of you all deserves a round of applause. So we've come a long way, and I'm here to say that from where we're standing right now, with the year that we have come, it is clear that our village remains strong and resilient, and for that, I thank each and every single one of you. Village leadership, distinguished guests, we have the mayor of Miami Shores here. Thank you, Crystal Wagner, for being here. We have a commissioner from North Miami Beach here. Thank you for being here. Fortuna, I don't know if she's still here. Yeah, okay. And more importantly, the residents of El Portal, all of us. I thank each of you for making the time and for being here this evening. And I thank each of you for this moment where we can really speak on who we are today, celebrate how far we have come, but more importantly, together create hope for what awaits for us tomorrow. Miami-Dade County Honor Guard, thank you for being here this evening. My husband, thank you for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilperson Roman, thank you for delivering the most beautiful invocation. And Sanchez Suite, you're now welcome back. No, I'm just kidding. For that heartfelt introduction that you just never fail. El Portal police officers, Vice Mayor Nickerson, I have not seen him yet. Councilperson Mathis, Councilperson Romari Roman, Councilperson Urbam, Village Manager Christia Alou, Village Attorney Norman Powell, and our Village Clerk Eunice Jacoby. I thank each and every single one of you for the service to this village. And a round of applause for them. And a special welcome goes out this evening to our new chief, and welcome Police Chief David Magnuson, who in his first 100 days has made major strides in elevating our police department to new heights. We are better protected today by a more robust, reorganized department that are now boasting with more manpower and more investments. I want to welcome Lieutenant Alejandro Mendez, who's here this evening. And Sergeant Sharp, I think, just got here. Congratulations on your promotion. Training is important, and our officers are armed with more specialized training. This past year, they went to interrogation techniques and emergency tax protection orders, among other things. In recent months, the arrest of an armed loader and a burglar in a robbery case solved. We have a focused plan to stop speeding motorists, evidence proving that we are on the right track with our police department. We want to send the message that in this community, you're not going to commit crime. We also have to thank you all, our Citizens Crime Watch, that is now so well organized and spearheaded by Officer Battaglia, and now armed with new tools and training opportunities. As we move forward, our block captains have been now integrated as part of management emergency response team to more efficiently and effectively disseminate information to all of you in moments of need, such as an emergency. Chief Magnuson will tell you this as he tells me most often. These efforts, these initiatives, these investments, this is an ongoing process. Results don't happen overnight. Results happen over time when you work together. And we must always be prepared for any threat that we can be presented with. That is why we met recently with the Department of Homeland Security advisors and support staff a few weeks ago. They sat here and they offered their expertise on structural and cybersecurity for the village of El Portal. We have also now engaged and revised all of our mutual aid agreements. The police officers are involved in ongoing operations with neighboring law enforcement agencies. One in particular that has just agreed to donate 2 vehicles to the village of El Portal next month. I want to shout out to the Vice Mayor of Homestead, John Burgess, for answering our call. Their strength in numbers, I cannot say that enough. So applause to him. It is all about more accountability. It is about more stability. It is about updating those policies that we have now. It is about raising the bar, increasing expectations, creating a proactive police department that is going to work with the staff for each and every single one of you. It's their job to protect all of us, and together, that is what our intention is for the next coming year. In October, we have the opportunity, law enforcement, village council, as well as council members and the village staff. They will have the opportunity to attend the Miami-Dade County League of Cities Best Practices. It is a conference that is going to give us access to hands-on learning experience on good governance. Conference sessions will focus on cybersecurity, the 2020 census, youth civic engagement, and other hot button topics that we also need to be trained on and up to speed. It is an opportunity that I'll bring to you not only as your mayor, but I bring to you as the current president for the Miami-Dade County League of Cities. It recently gave me the opportunity to select a school in our neighborhood, an elementary school at that. So we've selected Phyllis Ruth Miller. Phyllis Ruth Miller is a school that so many of our children attend. They were the recipient this year of over 700 backpacks filled with school supplies and lunch boxes. This is just 1% of a portion for what the Miami-Dade League of Cities does for the community. It is an honorable post that I have held since May, and I believe that it in turn has given our small community a megaphone in Miami-Dade County, in South Florida, and in Tallahassee. While my husband, and for those of you who know me well, will say that I do not need a megaphone, I believe I do. I believe that no matter how small in size we are, I can and we can be mighty as we move it together into this new year. When I think of collaboration, I think of how far we come together when we share more of ourselves with each other, when we share more with ourselves to the community that surrounds us, that we can live, work, and grow, and prosper together, and create a safer and more sustainable environment. When a storm is coming, there are no boundaries. It is just us. So it is important that we learn to work together. It is important that we learn to collaborate together in the good, in the bad, all the time. It is that that's going to make us so much stronger together. There's not a single issue that's too small, then there is no goal that is too big. And I am listening, the council has listened, the administration has listened, and we've heard. You all want us to be sure that we protect El Portal's village character. We want that as well. And so, our collaboration with Placerbia Design, which is a leader in innovative urban development around the world, guarantees this as we move forward. An architectural pattern book that paints a picture of a community we want to preserve the way it is today. We are reviewing and updating the village's comprehensive plan. It is an opportunity to better address all of our local conditions and improve our quality of life, not just for us today, but for your children tomorrow. And it is critical that your input is in there. We had a town hall in July, and the next one is on September 7th. Your input is invaluable because when it goes in the comp plan, that is part of the future for you all and for your children. September 7th, put it on your calendar if it is not there yet. We are also updating fencing regulation codes. As discussed at a recent town hall, you all have asked, we are addressing that. I am also really happy to support the collaboration of Placerbia and the administration. We just achieved bronze designation in the National Soul Smart. It is a program to make it faster, easier, and more affordable for homes and businesses in our community to go solar. And as part of the efforts, the Village Council is waiving permitted fees for the installation of solar systems for the next 12 months to all homes in El Portal. Resiliency. I've been talking about that lately. Miami-Dade County Resiliency 305. It's a regional strategy. It is guiding us to our next steps in ensuring thoughtful preservation and economic growth. This collaboration and this strategy focuses on not just our economic and environmental. It is a regional economic, environmental, and social challenges. It has strengthened our relationships with adjoining municipalities. It is where I can pick up the phone and the City of Miami Chief Resilient Officer is here in 2 days to do a town hall for us. That's the kind of relationships that we are building for all of you for El Portal, because they believe, I believe, we believe that there is power in collaborative response. It is another reminder that we must share our resources and expertise, because when we do, we impact the greater good, and that is our role as the elected leaders. Let's take, for example, our hurricane preparedness program. It is going to be getting a boost this year. It is better informed neighborhood emergency volunteers through an access training program that Miami-Dade County offers. You all have access to that today through this collaboration that we have, Resilient 305. I encourage each and every single one of you, if you have not watched the TV yet, there's a storm coming. This is a time where we come together and we participate in the training that's available to you. It's the Miami-Dade County Training Program, and it is available to every single resident in El Portal. Because there is something I said at the Resiliency Town Hall. If there is a hurricane and it comes, City of Miami is wonderful. The Miami-Dade County is wonderful. But it's up to us. We are going to be on the front lines. I'm going to call the mayor of Miami Shores because she lives 2 blocks away from me. We have to build this network. We have to have a collaborated effort, and not just with Miami Shores, with ourselves. That's where it starts. It starts with us. We have to lead that example that no matter what, we lead the way to collaboration. We lead the way to shared resources. And that more than ever is something that the Resilient 305 really hones us, because we see the opportunity for betterment. We see that El Portal in our South Florida has been that role model resiliency town. Just because we are small doesn't mean we can't be the example. I think that because we're small, we should be the example, because it shouldn't be that hard. I want to take a moment and recognize we have the principal of Horace Men, Kevin Lawrence. Here he is. Thank you for being here. This year, Horace Men Middle School, with the collaboration of the principal, is a health sciences medical magnet school. It is the only program like that in Miami-Dade County for a middle school. And that is in our town. It is our job to promote that. But it doesn't stop there. Our collaboration with Horace Men goes beyond that. Because if we want to stand out, if we want to inspire and have more victories, we have to offer things inside and outside the classroom. We need to be mentoring students. We need to be mentoring students at that school. They live in the community. If they don't, they live in our surrounding communities. Education in respect to mentoring and internships, other civic empowerment programs, they should serve more children in this community. Why? Because if you truly want to attain sustainability, they need access to quality education. To achieve sustainability, it's education, transportation. Who has heard that we're going to get potentially a trolley? I've heard many people, you're excited that we potentially are going to get a trolley. I know Miami Shores had a trolley for a little while. It is an opportunity to give our families access to regional transportation like the Brightline. If this is something that motivates you and inspires you, get a hold of us. Let's take these first steps. Let's try it out. We need increased support from you all to us with these initiatives. These grassroots initiatives that we are coming together is for all of you, is for all of us. But they're so much more impactful if we joined forces. So if you hear of an initiative that we're working on and you think it's great and you want to chime in and you want to hop in, get a hold of your favorite council person, call our manager, send an email, get involved. Because as I said during our Resiliency Town Hall meeting, you have the opportunity to join many things. One of them is Kristen McLean, who is a resident. In her mission to better protect and restore the Miami's historic Little River that runs through our El Portal. She's been spearheading a Little River Compact initiative to join all the surrounding municipalities, City of Miami, unincorporated City of Doral, the county, to come together, and agencies. Because together we can do something better. Because hey, guess what? Let me tell you something. Those annual cleanups, it's not enough anymore. The river needs more attention. We need to help her get this off the ground because this is really important. This in so many levels, this is important. Kristen texted me tonight because she's sick and she will not be here. And I said, I'm going to recognize you. But, call her. She is so phenomenal. She's so forthcoming. She's so open to ideas. She's so open to sit down with anybody and have coffee if you're going to tell her that you will be a part of her team. So take the opportunity. All that you hear tonight, if there's anything that inspires, motivates, or moves you, hop on that. Because we can't do it alone. It is so much better when we have more numbers. Because I said it, and I will say it again before I end today, there's so much strength in numbers. As we move forward after the Resiliency Town Hall, I am proposing to the council that we establish a resiliency task force. I want to be sure that we see the big picture as we are setting goals short and long term. A more critical eye in the future is necessary as we take into account all of these environmental changes, climate change, and post-storm conditions. We all know about that. Appointed residents will make up this task force because village leadership wants you to be in front and center when we are faced with our next challenge. We all saw clearly what happened when a big storm, Hurricane Irma, blew through our village. It can have a lasting and costly impact. And I want to bring up to that point, because I'm sure we're all thinking about it. I want to applaud the village staff, and I want to applaud our consultants who are here today, because as of July 11th, El Portal passed every FEMA level of approval, and all of the monies were released to the state of Florida. That deserves a round of applause. Once they obligated the money, it means that we passed every single process that FEMA did at the federal level. Now it's in the hands of the state of Florida. Eli, who just walked in, I believe I saw him, just walked in recently, delivered a letter to the governor for me yesterday. Why? I attended a conference in Orlando where the governor spoke. Do you all want to know what the governor said? I was sitting in the second row. He said, "It is my goal to ensure that the money doesn't stay stuck in Tallahassee. It goes to the cities that got impacted." I taped it because to me, we haven't gotten our money yet and we need our reimbursement back. So I wrote a letter. Not only did I email, but it was hand delivered by a gentleman who just flew from Tallahassee to see us today. So thank you for that. When I think of the last 9 to 10 to 12 months, sometimes it's hard for me to think past FEMA, but I do. This past year has been about work. It's been about dedication. It's been about the future development and projects that we have coming forward. That has had our and my absolute focus. Since about the spring of 2019, I have been meeting with the developers that are here today from our annexed area, what will become the Cavista residential apartments. This is going to create growth. This is going to inject funds into our community through a development agreement in the winter of 2019. I encourage you all to stay tuned. I encourage you to be aware of the September and October meeting, but this is going to be the beginning of a lot of great things as we move forward with the development. This past year, well, let me take it a step back. Communication is progress, regardless of what side we're on, and communication must remain open. That is why this past year, the manager and I diligently have been meeting with Full View Group as they work through their plan, their idea for the former Little Farm site. We want to make sure that their future proposed look, feel, and scale of what's going to be a future mixed-use development that will include a town center, it is consistent with your vision. It is consistent with what you said in the charrette. So we have met with them this year about 4 times. We want them to know we're watching you, and we want you to join us and be a part of our growth. We will be meeting with them again in the end of September. Along Northeast 2nd Avenue. On July 22nd, about a month ago, the sanctuary developers, we all know the sanctuary development, the long-awaited development, they just received, you're here, Maggie, somewhere from the county, they just received their approval on July 22nd from the Miami-Dade County to move forward their septic design. It's because we don't have sewer in Northeast 2nd Avenue. I want to thank Chair Commissioner Edmonds' office who's here. She helped us through that process. This development, that is a long-awaited development, is a critical role to that entire Northeast 2nd Avenue corridor. As they start the development, the ideas that have come before us are restaurants, office space, retail space. But did you all know there's a really cool yoga studio also coming? Did you all know there's possibly a boutique hotel? Stay tuned. All that in Northeast 2nd Avenue. So all that is great stuff. The future looks incredibly bright. And I'd love to be able to stand here for another 20 minutes or 10 minutes or 5 minutes and gloat about the great things that are coming forward. But we cannot do that without addressing our aging infrastructure. This past year, we have made it a point to make that our #1 attention. As such, we requested from our contractor to conduct a deep dive, comprehensive cost analysis into the entire village's infrastructure needs. What does that mean? It's a roadmap. What does that mean? It sets the way for us to have a 3, a 5, and a 10-year plan. Why do we do that? Because it costs a lot of money. From this analysis, it is determined to convert the entire village of El Portal to sewer, it will be $24 million. From that $24 million, very happy to say that phase 1 on the west side will be underway again soon, thanks to a recent collaboration with the Miami-Dade County School Board on an easement that was necessary to see that project through. From the $24 million, we need $5.2 million so that our northeast corridor gets a sewer. That is our business corridor. That's our future business corridor that right now is on septic. If you all wanted to open up a restaurant, if you all wanted to open up a business, the hoops that you would have to go through the county to get it approved will take a very long time. We are right sandwiched in between the Great Miami Shores and the city of Miami. I love Commissioner Hardeman and I love Mayor Wagner, but we got to be able to connect with them. It's unfair to them that they wait for us so that we're all on the same page. We need to be able to have that so that we all can rejoice from added facilities and added dining. So hey, guess what? We don't have to drive anywhere. We're going to just, push the stroller, or we're going to walk our dogs to the local restaurant on Northeast 2nd Avenue, not just in Miami Shores and not just the Citadel, even though it's great, but in our El Portal as well. What does this do? This cost breakdown analysis has provided to us an invaluable information. It has given us what the big picture through an in-depth analysis does. We now know of individual street conditions. Our engineer did a survey of every single street in this village. We know that to repair Northeast 87th Street, it's going to take $375,000. Why is that important? It is important because it's this type of information, it is this type of science, it is this skin in the game that we are able to build the case to the county and to the state of Florida to receive funding, because we are armed with facts and hard data. Such as in 2017, with the assistance of our lobbying team, we were awarded $500,000, and hey, that was great, but that was also 2 years ago. We need to do that again. In fact, we need to be doing that every year if they're here. And what was the $500,000 for? It was because we had a stormwater project in the El Jardín area. Stormwater outfall is necessary because it mitigates flooding in our town, and of course it mitigates mosquitoes. So all of these projects, we now have a long-term and a short-term plan. This was my commitment when I spoke to you all a year ago. I said we were going to have a plan. I said we were going to codify the plan, and we were going to bring it forward, because It doesn't matter who the mayor is, and it doesn't matter who the council is, and it doesn't matter who the administration is. If there's not a plan, the village is not going to move forward. So it is up to us to create that plan now. You don't create a plan after development, it gets created now. We have spent this past year getting our house in order. I said once at a council meeting, I'm all about code enforcement. We have a new code enforcement officer. I'm all about code enforcement. But I said, how are you finding you for painting your house? How does our house look? We need to do a better job, I know, of our right-of-ways. We need to do a better job of our village hall, because it is unfair that we continuously give you fines, but we, as our home, is not in order. So it was our job this past year to put that in order. We didn't just plan for a week. We didn't plan a month out. The El Portal leadership developed this roadmap. It is a 3 to 5 to 10-year plan so that we never lose sight of who we are, where we're going, and it doesn't matter who is in the administration or who the council is. There's a plan. We have set priorities, we have taken action, and we are growing together with a shared focus on issues that you told us were most important: public safety, the environment, and infrastructure. This is how we work on this, and this is how we together will create a stronger and more resilient El Portal, which was once said in the paper, it's been a few years now, that it was the best kept secret in Miami-Dade County. But ladies and gentlemen, we can't do this without you guys. We really can't. It makes it a lot harder, and there's no need. So I ask each of you to recommit, to join us and take a pledge. Join us to work together. We have an opportunity right here to claim our future that looks amazing. I was at a council meeting, and there was an attorney there, and I remember the name, and I remember he said something, and he said, oh, wow, you know, El Portal is so beautiful. That's how Coconut Grove used to be. I never want anybody to say that about El Portal. And they will. And you want to know why it can happen? Because if we don't work together, if we don't join forces to really support all of the initiatives to make this village a brighter and more stronger village, it can happen. In 10 and 15 years, Leah's going to say, oh, El Portal used to be so wonderful. No, El Portal is going to be amazing. But it's only going to happen if we work together. It doesn't matter what size we are. I said that earlier. I think we should use our size to our advantage. I'm proud to say that I know almost everybody here by the first name. I challenge each of you to know each other by the first name. Because if you know somebody by the first name, you are more inclined to watch over their house. You are more inclined to watch when they're getting home and they're not getting home. I saw a commercial, I was watching TV. It's a rare activity for my husband and I to watch TV, but we were watching TV. I don't remember what the commercial was, but the statistic was that 31% of the people know their neighbors. That may be acceptable in the city of Miami. That may be even acceptable in the county. That should really not be acceptable here. Because you really, if you have not yet met your neighbors, if you don't know us, then tonight is the beginning that we have the opportunity to do that. Why? Because I ask each and every single one of you to come to our meetings. Come to the committee meetings. Come to the council meetings. And hey, and guess what? If you can't make it, I get it. The videos are online. Make some popcorn, you can watch the videos. We didn't have that before. Every single meeting, even the committee meetings, even today, is recorded. And hey, and guess what? Time flies. We have families, and we have children that are in a lot of sports. If you can't make the meetings, then you come to this. Because here you're going to hear a year in review. Here you get a snippet of what's going on. I even facilitated, and people were asking me, oh, why are you doing it in August? And I was like, we were trying to create a system. We were trying to make it easier because we respect people are busy. We meet on the 4th Tuesday of every month for our council meeting. So after I became the mayor, I was like, well, the State of the Village will be on the 4th Tuesday of August because we don't have a meeting that month. So on the 4th Tuesday of August is when we have been meeting here since 2015. And it's an opportunity, you just put that in your calendar and you know that. So why do I say that? Because being informed means knowledge, and knowledge means power. Be a part of the process. Join the El Portal Women's Club. Volunteer for an event. Help us make the 2020 census a reality, and help make sure that all of us are counted. Bring your families to the community events. You have 4th of July. You have Armed Forces 5K. You have the Little River cleanup. You have an Arbor Day potluck and celebration. There is something for everybody. There is beauty in community, and I sincerely believe that. My husband asked me once, why do you do all you do? And after 10 years, you probably still have the same exact passion. And I truly believe this is where I come from. And that's where I'm going to get into a little bit right now. I would like to know more of you. You should want to know who your electeds are. You should want to know who we are and what we are. So for those of you who do not know, I'm the youngest of 9 children. My parents were Colombian immigrants who came to South Florida because they wanted to give my family a better life. And today, I'm living that dream. And I live it every day, and I don't take it for granted. Because they had a choice. They could have stayed in Colombia. They could have stayed in New Jersey, which is where they originally moved to. But they came here. So I believe, to answer my husband's question, is that I recognize the effort. I recognize that not everybody has the same opportunities, but I did. My father had a vision. I don't know what it is. My parents have since passed, but he had this belief that South Florida was going to give the 9 of us a better life. So I live every day ensuring that that dream, that goal that they had is living every single day. So I do it myself, and I do it for all of you because I come from a big family. It's just how I am built. So I worked on the ending for this speech for a while, and I probably went on 5 different ones. And isn't it so funny when you take a picture, it's always the first one that's a great one? So it's the first one that I wrote that's best. And it's at the ending of every newsletter at my report. And I sincerely believe that together we can and we will make the village of El Portal a beautiful place where every single person matters. So before I step away from the podium, I'd like to call our manager, Christia Liu. I'd like to call Chief Magnuson to please join me at the podium. Hi, honey, look good.
Good job.
In the spirit of collaboration and the spirit of working together, we are very excited to present, at least in my tenure, this year's Top Cop Award. And the Police Officer of the Year is Officer Victor Riveron.
You know, earlier, you said it so well about it's a small village, but we have to work harder, everybody. I said that to the entire police department, too. Being a ex-Golden Gloves fighter, I use boxing a lot in how I speak, metaphorically speaking. We're not the city of Miami, we're not a heavyweight. We're not the county, we're not a heavyweight. You know, we're not the Shores, perhaps a welterweight. You know, and Miami Springs, a light heavy, you know, you get it. We're a bantamweight. We are a bantamweight, 118 pounds soaking wet. But there's no reason in the world, if we're a bantamweight, why we can't be the champion. Just last month in Ring Magazine, who was on the cover? Bantamweight champion from Japan. There it is. It says something. So if you're at a certain size, No pun intended, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. I'm only 5'9" and 160. I apologize. But if you're at a certain size, it doesn't matter. It's what's behind this. It's what's in that punch. Tenacity. Tenacity is what defines this police department. In the past few months, a new mindset has taken shape, or maybe an old mindset that's just blossomed a little bit more now. We're going after criminals. We're following up. We're just doing a lot more things. We're very cohesive. I love what I see, and I couldn't be any prouder of all my years, almost 35 years in law enforcement, than what I have with the men of the and hopefully soon the women of the El Portal Police Department. We are always looking for new officers, and when we look around, what we do see missing is women. So if you know any women that are interested in becoming police officers with the Village of El Portal, by all means, tell them to apply. But there's a tenacity that goes on in this department, and I think Officer Riveron is just personifies it perfectly. From chasing an armed offender a couple months ago down a block at night on a Saturday night, from being in a class, an interview and interrogations class, and from there on a Thursday he learns of a woman that lives in El Portal that was followed from Publix that got robbed. He calls me and said, listen, I'm going through this class. Do you mind if I try to work it a little bit? I'm in this class. It's great. I said, go ahead. Then he calls me back. Miami Shores is working something similar. Do you mind if I tag along with them and I learn something new? And I said, you know, as a chief, I can't pay for that sort of thing. That's just something that's within the person himself. So he goes over there. They make the arrest. There's 2 separate cases. He gets to interview the same offender, but for the El Portal case, and he gets a full confession. But as the commercial says, but wait, there's more. Just recently, we had a UPS driver robbed as he sat in his truck. He's not even working that day during that shift, yet he comes in and runs with it. Within 48 hours, a little less than 40 hours, we have the persons identified. So now we go through all the motions of getting things done, of getting tapes, of going bank records and everything, and he's putting this together. He's also collaborating with the City of Miami Robbery and the County Gang Unit. And so we're building a very solid case where pretty soon these people are in for a rude awakening. But I guess back to the point, the tenacity, he's the embodiment of this entire police department, but you to be saluted for all the work you did. I couldn't be any prouder of you, and for that, I salute you. Congratulations.
I just want to make a comment as well. And I apologize for my tardiness, but my child's open house was tonight, so I had to attend to that. And I rushed right over from here, but I wanted to, from there, but I wanted to also echo the sentiment of the mayor as well as Chief Magnuson about our fantastic Officer Riveron. And I, personally feel very happy and proud of you because you were one of the very first officers that I saw sworn in as I became the village manager 2 years ago this week. So I want to congratulate you and thank you. Job well done.
We're going to do this without a microphone. Remember, I don't need a microphone. Come on. All right. So, first Top Cop Award, Officer of the Year, Officer Victor Riveron. I will tell you that when I emailed the chief and the manager and I said, I'm going to give up some awards, it was initially my intent, but Titus takes all of us, even me. The chief responds back, and I said, so can you pick one Officer of the Year? He responds back, and he's like, one? That was his immediate response in writing. So I want to say that to every single officer in the back of the room right now. And the other thing that I thought was so amazing was another email that Chief sent out, letting his officers know. And their response was, well, of course we're going to be there for him.
Yeah.
Your determination, drive, dedication, and commitment to excellence in law enforcement
and to the citizens of El Portal, all here are very much appreciated, recognized, and saluted, not just from us, but from all of them. Keep up the good work. August 27, 2019.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to say thank you very much. It means a lot to be here and to have to share this opportunity with everybody here. The one person that I got to thank the most is my mother. Mima, muchas gracias por siempre estar ahí por mí. Soy el hombre que soy por quien tú me has hecho ser.
I'll raise this up a little bit. So much to say. The mic is heavy. All right. Well, thank you, Mayor Cabillos, for that informative and inspiring and impassioned review of the year that we've had here in the village of El Portal. I mean, we are seeing such strides and overcoming many challenges. So, I mean, it's a wonderful report card. So thank you. And thank you for starting the tradition of the El Portal Police Officer of the Year. I think that is so important for us to really recognize our essential staff. I mean, these are our frontline guys, so thank you, Mayor, for recognizing us. And, you know, it also shows you that the village is in really great hands. You know, I'm so proud to be your village manager, but I have to say, I could not do it without this wonderful team that is the staff and the lifeblood of El Portal. So I thank Chief David Magnuson and his fantastic team of police officers, including Lieutenant Mendez, Sergeant Bernard Sharp, and all of our officers. I also want to just tell you about our new team. We have new staff here at the Village of El Portal. The administration has changed. We haven't changed in a way that would be troubling. It is a way of, you know, it's progress. Progress and, you know, growth brings change, you know, and change can be great. So besides our new police chief and some new officers coming on board, we have a new code enforcement officer, Amir King, who's here in back. Just wave your hand, Amir. He's coming to us from West Palm Beach, code enforcement. Oh, that'd be a great idea. Why don't you come on up so everyone can see our new team, our new staff. Okay, so our code enforcement officer, Amir King, building clerk, Miriam Herrera. Please come forward, Miriam. Office administrator, Tony Cisneros. And not present tonight only because he wasn't well and had to go to a doctor's appointment, Jose Villela, who is our new public works and maintenance staffer. But we're really proud of our team. Thank you all for joining us, and they bring a wealth of experience and professionalism that we're all looking forward to engaging in. I also want to recognize two other staffers who are not so new, but they make the wheels turn for us as well, and that's our interim village attorney, Norman Powell, He's in back, last I saw him, hiding behind the coffee machine. And our village clerk, Eunice Jacoby. We have contractor consultants as well here who help us in all the ways the mayor described. We have Robert Ruano here, who's our grants man, who finds us the money, watches projects. Thank you. We have Orlando Rubio from Craig A. Smith, the engineering firm that really keeps us on point and does the road analysis and the sidewalk studies and all of those things that we need to plan for our future and our resiliency. We also have Juan Mullarat and Camila Zabla from Pluserbia. These are our planning and zoning officials. You all really, they always come through for us as well. And we have Liz Day from our DP&O consultant. This is our emergency administration and emergency planning company. Liz Day I just saw, but she's all the way back there. Thank you, Liz. And Eddie Gonzalez and Eli Nortulis, who are our lobbyists, are part of our lobbying team. Thank you, guys. All right, so now that I've taken my little side street, I want to get back on the program. I would like to call forward El Portal's resident, Ms. Zamira Diaz. She's the first vice president of the El Portal Women's Club and a regular community event volunteer to provide tonight's benediction. Second Vice President, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. If you'd like to join me in bowing our heads. Thank you, God, for all your many blessings. We're especially grateful to you for bringing us together this evening to learn, share, to get to know each other. We pray that you guide us and protect us and continue to help us, our mayor, our elected officials, our officers and staff in their great tasks to take care of our wonderful village and its residents. May we grow strong in community and continue to flourish for many years to come. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Zamira. Well, we're at the end now, because I want you all to walk away feeling like you didn't have to stay all night, and we stayed kind of on schedule, unless someone wants to sing. I'm looking at Councilperson Mathis, but maybe he doesn't want to. Anyway, well, this concludes our official program for the 2019 State of the Village Address. And on behalf of the village staff, our village mayor, Claudia Cubillos, our village council, I would like to invite all of you to stay a bit, have some refreshments, and a little fellowship with us and get to know us. Thank you all for coming, and we'll see you again next year with even more good news.